now to the Dublin Ladies Club Championship, and Foxrock Cabinteely managed to retain their title for a second year in a row. Earlier I spoke with their manager Pat Ring. So congratulations on winning the Dublin Senior Club Championship. How does it feel to be club champions?
Well, it's great. It's absolutely marvellous, and even better that we're Dublin Club champions 2 years in a row, and that's even harder to do. So I suppose good teams win it once. I suppose very good teams win it twice in a row, and it's our third championship in 5 years. So look, we're very pleased. We're absolutely thrilled and delighted that it's over with. A lot of hard work has gone into it.
Hey, you mentioned with Suzanne last week that the cup was only on loan. It must have been good to lift it again. It was
marvellous, and we had a different captain this year, and I suppose we change captains most years, so there was a different lady lifting the cup for us this year, Sarah Brophy, as against Fiona Claffey last year. So it was super, and it's a great achievement for a club so young and for such a small club generally overall, and so we're certainly punching above our weight on the football field, you know.
You've already mentioned there to win a title is difficult enough, but to retain it is some achievement. What work goes into keeping the team at this level?
Well, yeah, it's trying to keep, I suppose, in most teams there's always a bit of a turnover in personnel in the close season, and we lost 4 or 5 players from last year's panel from the point of view of 2 people retired, 2 players went away and emigrated to work abroad. And one of our players has had difficulty with work commitments this year, so hasn't really been able to commit fully. But we had a smaller panel than last year, which is probably easier to manage. But 2 or 3 of our younger players coming through from the club, from the minor team and previous under 16 teams, have come through. Tara Sullivan and O'Neill, Ciara Crotty. So it's great that, I suppose, when you do lose a number of players, that 2 or 3 can step in. And it didn't weaken us at all as a panel overall. So, it's trying to, I suppose, in that period, you're trying to introduce new players and so on. And we had a lot of injuries earlier on in the season as well, which didn't help. But that's been all good since about June, So but a lot of work goes into it. And because we went so far in the All-Ireland Championship last year, we didn't finish up until late November. We didn't bring the players back until the 1st of March, whereas we normally come back in January. So, there's a lot of work went into it.
And looking at the match and the first half initially, you seem very in control, even going into the break 4 points up.
We did. We did, even though probably 4 doesn't reflect where we felt we should have been ourselves. Maybe, we wouldn't have been disappointed with 1 or 2 more. We had 7 or 8 wides in the first half, and some of them were poor. But, yeah, look, we kind of said to the players at half-time, look, this is a much different game from last year because, in last year's game we went in 9 or 10 points up at half-time, so it was a completely different game. But it was nothing that we didn't expect. We always knew that Bridget's were a very strong team and have been for years. I mean, I've been involved with our girls since they were 16, a lot of them, and we would have played this Bridget team, year in, year out, under 16, under 18, junior, intermediate, senior, and there was never much in it. So last year was a bit of a shock in that we won it so well, but we knew ourselves that was a one-off, and it was proven on the night. I mean, it was a very competitive game, two very good teams going head to head, and that's what it's about,
Yeah, and towards the end of the second half, we did see a bit of a surge from Bridget's. What was it that kept the girls to get over the line?
Well, yeah, we should have been probably, it ended up being a very long match. I mean, I'm not going to get into the details of that because I might get myself in trouble. But we were told, and the whole ground were told, that there was only 4 minutes of injury time to be played at the end of the game. And at one stage it went into the 9th minute. But we had our chances. We went in 4 up. We came out and we got the first 3 scores in the second half, which to put us 7 up. And then we missed 3 or 4 chances from players that would normally put them away, which would have put us 8, 9, 10 up. And at that stage, that would be hard for any team to come back from. But instead of that, when we were 7 up and missed 3, Bridget's went back down the other end and got a goal. And then that kind of brought them back into the game. And I think that gave Bridget's a huge lift. But it was backs to the wall stuff. But to be fair to our girls, they battled hard. They kept it going. And, we got a couple of sin bins in injury time, which looked a bit strange to me. But, because we haven't had any players yellow carded in 3 years, and we had 2 in the space of 3 or 4 minutes. But look, that's the way it is, yes. You kind of get on with it and you battle against all these things, and we did. And we came out and we lost the championship final 2 years ago to Nafina by a point, and we won this one by a point. So look, it swings and roundabouts.
And what was the feeling like when the whistle eventually blew and you were 1 point up?
Well, it was one of relief, because it was backs to the wall stuff at that stage. I mean, anything could have happened. It was completely out of our control. And one thing we've been saying to the players for the last couple of years is, I suppose, weather is out of your control, pitches is out of your control, referees is out of your control, the elements out there is outside your control. But we lost control of it towards the end of the game, which was a pity, because that's one of the areas that we're very strong on. But once it got back very close and there was an onslaught coming against us, it was panic stations, but there was a lot of relief at the final whistle. But I think, to be fair, we did deserve to win the game, even though the score was very tight. But it was a much, much better game, I'm sure, to the neutral observer than last year. And that's what it's about. But we're happy just to get out, and we're happy to be champions and to go on and represent Dublin now in the Leinster Senior Championship, where, we always get a fair crack at the whip. And, Leinster has been a very good place for us to go and visit and, visit the various counties around there. So we didn't even know who we had in the Leinster Championship because we were concentrating just on the championship final only. So, the Dublin champions now in senior are away to the Meath champions this year on the 1st of October. So we have a chance now to have a look at that, because they're only at semi-final stage. So that gives us a chance to, go and have a look.
And what was the atmosphere like in the club? How's the support?
Well, we had a massive crowd. We had a huge crowd from the club. The crowd, in fairness, the club ran a number of buses, and a huge amount of people went on their own transport as well. But there was a much bigger crowd than last year. But our juvenile sector within the club is growing fairly dramatically, and that was reflected in the crowd that came out. And there was a lot of friends and a lot of family and work colleagues there for a lot of the players and the management and so on. And everyone was very, very relieved, but the atmosphere was marvellous.
It's a relatively new club, only founded in 2005, but you've had a lot of success in recent years. What do you think has led to this?
Well, we're very good people, and it doesn't happen without, I suppose, strong leadership. And over the years, we've had 4 or 5, 6, 7 very good club chairpersons, club secretaries, people prepared to put in a lot of time into the club. But one of the big issues for us is that we have built up very, very strong relationships with our local schools. And that has been a huge success in that we have very good partnerships with them. We go in and we help them to coach their players and help their school teams. And as a result of that, then, I suppose we get a lot of recruitment in from the schools. And the fact that we're a girls-only club, really, I mean, we have some boys at the very young ages. But the fact that we're a girls-only club, it's quite unique, really. And also in the local community, it is a kind of a brand that's a little bit different. And we have to be different because we have big clubs on our doorstep that we have to do something different,
Yeah,
so I put it down to that, really.
Yeah, you've already mentioned the next goal will be Leinster. How will you be preparing for that?
Well, we gave the girls a few days off, and they haven't touched the ball since Friday night. So we're back now this evening, and the management team will sit down for an hour. We're meeting now at 6:00, and we'll sit down and plan out our next 2 or 3 weeks and see where we're going from there. But it's just about the next match, really, and that's against the Meath champions on the 1st of October, and we're away to whoever wins that championship. So that's our focus, not beyond that. We just take it one game at a time, one step at a time, and we'll prepare the players as well. And to be fair, they're a great bunch.
And the best of luck in the Leinster, and congratulations again on the second win in a row.
Great, thanks Emma, thank you.
A great win there for Foxrock Cabinteely, and thanks to their manager Pat Ring for talking to us earlier. But now this weekend sees the